Hello, everybody. My name is Nick, and I'm making this video for all the people out there struggling with mental illness and addictions that really don't know what to do or feel stuck. I want to start this video out by saying if you're struggling with mental illness or addiction, that I'm going to leave numbers for hotlines down in the description for mental illness, for suicide, and for addiction. So if you have any issues and you need to call somebody, those numbers will be available to you. With that said, let's jump right into this. And the first topic I wanted to talk about was trauma. Trauma is a very powerful thing, and it can cause you to have some very intense and almost paralyzing, emotions that you can't seem to understand or overcome. But I'm here to say that there is a way to get a real grip and understanding of the emotions that you're feeling. And that starts with the acceptance. This is a very important part of the process in dealing with difficult trauma because you have to understand that nothing can change what has already occurred in your life. A lot of people tend to hold on to these things, this trauma, for years and years after the event took place, and that can be extremely detrimental if you don't handle it correctly. The best thing I found was to start trying to understand that no matter what the circumstances or the situation, there is always something to be learned through an experience as powerful as some of the traumatic events of your past and my past. It's looking into the darkness and finding the best possible solution for you to grow as a person and gain key skills that you can use later in life. For me, it was understanding that what happened to me was just a way for me to hone the gifts I was born with, such as my strength, courage, resilience, and ability to overcome. Everybody in this life will have their willpower tested. It's all about what you do with that energy. For example, I was sexually abused, and for a long time I allowed that person to steal power from me by not being able to understand why it happened to me. But finally, now that I've thought about it, I'm able to see that it happened to me so I could become the person I am today. And it's honestly an amazing amount of relief to feel when you're able to forgive somebody that has wronged you in the past. And I could finally move forward and transform into a better person the person I am today. Who's actually in control of their feelings and the way that they do things and the actions they take. I didn't forgive him for any other reason than I didn't deserve to feel the pain and shame that came along with, holding on to that for as long as I did. It took a lot of reflection and meditation and practice, but I was able to do what I needed to, and it's amazing. The process of forgiveness begins when you start to realize that you deserve to have a happy life, to have happiness and love and people who care about you and are worthy of good life without the stress of something that was outside of your control. Life outside yourself is something that cannot be controlled, and it's of vital importance that you understand this and that you move your focus towards the aspects of yourself that you can control. And that is your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Once you realize this fully, you will begin to realize that you just do what you know is right in your heart for yourself, like being a kind, loving, caring, giving, and compassionate person. Things will tend to, gravitate towards you with that same energy. You'll start to reciprocate. You'll find people that will reciprocate that energy, which is very nice and very, really, refreshing. It might take some time, but, over time, the more positive energy that you give out, the more you will receive. And it's very true that, people can tell what kind of person you are by the way that you are able to give and able to listen and be able to be there for people who are struggling. Creating, the energy that you are creating that is the positives, it's very, very beneficial for growth and, being able to see the positives in those negative events that have happened can really change the whole way that you look at the world and the way that you look at life. It almost feels like you can do anything and you never would have thought was possible in the past. And a good example is that When I gained control of the way I was thinking, it allowed me to stop being so impulsive and so quick to fight and so quick to get angry. Because I know that if I feed myself thoughts of anger, negativity, then my actions will very quickly follow those. But if I counteract those thoughts before they become too much, then I'm able to focus on what is best for me. That's usually removing myself from the situations that are causing that, or taking some deep breaths, because whatever is happening in that moment is going to have no power over me. These are just the beginning of the things I've learned through the very hard and painful experiences I've gone through. I'm hoping this helps any of you in some form or another with how to handle past trauma, because I know from personal experience how detrimental and how painful and how it makes you feel like you're not worth anything. But I'm here to tell you that you're worth more than what you ever thought you would be. It's just all about the way that you think. It's all about the way that you put things into your mind and manifest them into events that happen to you. Now, the second thing I would like to touch base on today is depression. My depression has always been extremely bad or non-existent. Some days I feel really good and not worried about anything but the future and how I'm going to keep going. But other days it seems like I can't keep moving. I just want to sleep all day and isolate myself from everyone because, I think, who cares if I'm around? I used to think that anyway, but it's very hard to find out what works for you during a time of depression. I feel as if you get depressed sometimes so that you don't take the good times for granted. The dark cloud that comes over you almost seems like you'll never see the light again, but I'm here as living proof that you can get through the darkness. And what I did was go even a step further and try to understand the darkness so that when it comes, so I know why it comes around in the first place. I had to think backwards to understand why I was feeling this way and what I could do to make it just a little bit better for myself. A lot of my depression came from the desire to have friends just because of past events and how many friends would turn their backs on me when I was young. My desire to have money and to really be able to prove myself to other people. Those two things are just small comparison to the amount of internal satisfaction you will get realizing that those things will come to you if you're just willing to do the work and stay positive, because positivity is the key to getting over depression. What I do every morning when I wake up, like as soon as I wake up, is listen to 10 to 30 minutes of motivational psychological videos, listen to audiobooks, and read positive affirmations so that I'm able to start my day out with, positive thoughts, and it gives me motivation to get out of bed and gives me motivation to go and begin the things that I need to do for that day. If you surround your whole life with positivity and meaningful thoughts, you'll never really get depressed. You'll realize how little friends, money, and, being popular and being the center of attention means absolutely nothing. It's just all about finding yourself. And in my experience, it's not a real issue if you're moving in a positive direction every chance you get. These are just some ways that I was able to overcome my depression, was by making sure that I prioritize being a good person, being a quality person, being a person of integrity, an honest man who's doing what he feels is right for himself. And now I'm beginning to understand that the people that are meant to be in my life will come into my life as long as I just continue to work on myself in the right way. Another thing that I was wanting to talk about are the people and places and things that you surround yourself with. These are very important issues that need addressing, because a lot of people, put themselves around people just to fit in and to do things just because they want to feel like they matter to somebody. Most people I have met have a very hard time with the fact that the people you are around are the people that's who you turn into. It's human nature to adapt behaviors and habits from one another. That's how as babies we learn to walk, talk, feed ourselves, by watching our parents, our siblings, you know, we watch them and adapt their behaviors and then move forward and become grown and then start learning for ourselves. It's the same as if we end up being around someone who doesn't care about anything, even remotely bad, like lying, stealing, manipulating, having no regard for anyone but themselves, and you will start to add those personalities to you if you're not careful. That's why you just need to cut all the people off who don't try to help you grow as a person when you're down and out. But if it was the other way around and you were up doing good things, they'd be there, right, just to celebrate with you, but then disappear right after everything goes away. I just realize nowadays that the only people I need is myself and my family, because certain people just will never be there the same way that your family and your loved ones will ever be there for you. And it's the same way with places. You if you put yourself in certain areas, certain places, you're going to definitely start to adapt the behaviors from the people you see around you. And you're very susceptible to the behavior. It's those people around you in those places are not your friends. They're not your family, and they're not good people. And so my best advice is take a long look at the people you're around and ask yourself, are they helping me become better? Or am I sitting in the same position I was before the bullshit? And are they just around when I'm doing something with myself? Or are they actually around to see me do better? That's a real good question to ask yourself when you're dealing with feeling depressed, and you got to really take a good long look at yourself and understand that, a lot of your emotions are in your control, and the things that you think correlate with what you do, and what you think also correlates with how you feel. The last subject I wanted to talk about is anxiety. The way my anxiety affects me is I feel like I can't think straight. My mind is moving so fast and I can't focus. My heart is pounding out of my chest. Another thing that happens really is when I'm anxious, I get very quiet and reserved. I don't want anybody approaching me or looking at me, so I tend to leave the place and then go sit down alone, take some breaths, and let my thoughts slow down. But if I don't have that option of walking away, it can get very risky because I might feel threatened. I might feel like somebody's plotting on me. I begin to become aggressive toward people, and in turn would lead to a physical altercation a lot of times. Anxiety is actually very important when it comes to humans and how we react to the unknown. We become anxious in unknown situations as a defense mechanism. So we are constantly looking around, analyzing the situations and surroundings, and seeing if any possible threats are going to come our way. It's very instinctive, and if you hone it in correctly, it can be very effective way to make your way in the world. It's very important to force yourself into uncomfortable situations, uncomfortably high anxiety situations, because those are the situations that are going to teach you the most important lessons you can learn in life. Overcoming the fear that comes with anxiety is how humans have survived for thousands of years. Without the anxiety and determination to overcome it, humans would have died off. I mean, we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for our anxiety and our fear of the unknown, but it was also because of our determination and our willingness to overcome that anxiety and that fear. Because a lot of people, sit there and tell themselves excuses on why you can't do certain things because you have so much anxiety, and you're lying to yourself because you're undermining the human nature of, of overcoming that fear and that anxiety, because it's just so important for you to understand that it's all about your thought process. If you believe you can't do something, you won't do it. But if you believe in yourself and you tell yourself every day, I can do this, I can get through this. It's just another day. It's just another situation. It's just another event. You'll get yourself through those things, and you'll be so grateful that you did, because you have learned to conquer your demons and conquer the fear inside yourself. It's something you have to understand so that you can continue forward in your journey, fulfilling your purpose as a human. then it is worth doing something. You know, you gotta understand it's worth doing something uncomfortable for you to become more well-rounded and happy with yourself for the progress that has been made. Letting your anxiety control your actions is you doubting the strength inside yourself that every human is born with. Stop selling yourself short and thinking you can't control your emotions. You have to gain control of the way you think and change that to make your life worth living. So I wanted to close this video out with some positive thoughts and words that I happen to find interest in. I found them on Facebook. You know, that's all I follow is positive affirmations, so that's all I'm reading all day. Self-control is strength. Calmness is mastery. You have to get to the point where your mood doesn't shift based on the insignificant actions of somebody else. Don't allow others to control the direction of your life. Don't allow your emotions to overpower your intelligence. Thank you for watching this, and I'm hoping that I've made somewhat of a difference in somebody's life. Even if you just take one thing out of what I said and it's helpful, that's all I can hope for, and that's all I pray for, is because I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't feel like everybody else, and I just want to be the best version of myself that I can be, and this is how I'm going to do it. So stay tuned for more videos and let me know what you guys would like to hear me talk about. There's many things that I haven't even touched base on about myself, and I feel like my story can be very beneficial for others, and I will try my best to explain the process of how I got through things to the best of my ability. I will continue to educate myself to make sure that the things I'm saying are factual and the things that I'm saying are, 100% best way to do things, because I know I'm not always right, but I feel like what has worked for me could also work for others. So hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.